Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Animaking 3. And I'm back with part 8 of What If Naruto Was an Uchiha Bastard. Remember to get this one too. 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also, guys, I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Maharaga Reincarnation. So go ahead and check that out. Link will be down in the description for Animaking 2. Yes, that's right, guys. I indeed have 3 more channels, which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. I'll be leaving all of the links down in the description, so go ahead, check them out, and yeah, guys, enjoy. So without further ado or wasting more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode? Let us begin now, guys. So, the last part that we left off, Danzo was returning home after a hard day, as he was trying to turn the populace against the Uchihas. In many different ways, he was trying to weaken the infrastructure of the village, foresight on the Uchihas. However, Naruto was doing so much good that it was becoming a problem. But Danzo would have his way. However, he was frightened by Naruto being inside of his home that was a well-kept secret to many, and yet Naruto was there waiting for him. Danzo was not only caught off guard, he was worried, as Naruto told him that he was plotting many ways to end his life right here and now. But he supposed, given their friction earlier, people would believe that he was the one behind his death. However, he told him that if push come to shove, he wouldn't care. Time and time again, Danzo kept on pushing Naruto. Danzo told Naruto that he would relent if he hand over the Nine Tails, and do not make a fuss when the Nine Tails is given training by him to protect Konoha. Firstly, Naruto told him that wasn't going to happen. Second, if he continued to come after the Uchihas, he would come for his people and then him last, to make sure that he suffered in his last moments and he understood why he did what he did. We then reveal that Naruto had someone on the table the entire time. Danzo chief in the root Anvu, who has been watching Naruto. Danzo was frightened by that, as he was sure that he was under a genjutsu, and yet he wasn't able to spot what the hell happened, as Naruto left giving him a fair warning. Years passed after that, as Mito, Uzumaki grew up close. Mito had friends, starting from Uncle Midarashi and the Uchihas. Chisue was extremely nice to her. There was a lot of people that she knew. The populace was aware of her status. Because of Danzo, Naruto made sure the man regret what he did. However, Naruto sat Mito down and told her everything. He did not keep anything away from her. He was her godfather. He knew her appearance. He told her everything she needed to know. A part of Naruto was being a bit distant because everything that he come to care about dies. And he despised that. And he didn't want her to end up on that list. He would not fail Minato and Kushina. So Mito find him a bit scary. But she knew everything. And the people here, they treated her like family, especially those around Naruto-sama. So yes, she had a great deal amount of respect for the man. So with that, time has been going peacefully since. Naruto had been the first Uchiha to ever allow another desolate clan to merge with their own. A clan that was renowned for their powerful genjutsu eyes and manipulating the high content of blood. Yes, iron. They could manipulate contents of water with high iron. Naruto was the first to ever do this. There was a lot of backlash at first until they started to see the beneficial side of this. The Uchiha clan has been expanding more and more their strength, their influence, given the fact that Naruto was a major part of the council, to the point that Danzo literally had no say over him, because the benefits that the Uchihas provide the village was surpassing any of the other clans. The Hyugas and several others did not really like this because they did not see the Uchiha clan as something that they like. They saw them as rivals, but Naruto never saw any of them as such. He never saw any of them as competitions. They were nothing to him. However, it was time. Naruto spoke to Hiruzen before leaving the village, as he wanted the man to know, to understand how things are going to go, not to mention the name as well. Naruto went to find Tsunade and Shizune, who were training with a young boy. The boy was none other than Itachi. When he was able to understand Naruto had revealed everything to him, Itachi took a day to relax and calm his mind. He wasn't sure that he understood the concept of love. Perhaps he's seen it but never truly understood it. However, he would not allow anyone to hurt the family that he's come to gather around him. He was speaking of his father, Tsunade and Shizune. Every single time that Naruto left the village, that is where he went. When the Nine-Tail attacked, that is where he went to visit his son. Yes, Itachi was alive. Naruto brought him back to the village, not before speaking to Tsunade though, as he was able to convince her to return. The hole in her heart had been healed by the years of taking care of Itachi. As Naruto brought Itachi back, not as Itachi Uchiha but Sasuke Uchiha, that was the reason why he spoke to Hiruzen. As the populace was told that one of his, well, they knew about his very exploits behavior with ladies. One of them had given birth to a son of his, and he brought him back to introduce him to the clan. Itachi was well respected, and he also showed respect to the people, which grew a long way as he met Mito. Sometime after that, as Itachi was filing in, Naruto had to leave the village. However, him leaving the village and being accompanied by a few of his others, as he was about to talk some trade dealings with another that would benefit the Uchiha clan. Naruto told his people to remain where they were. As he headed inside, he could already tell that something was wrong. The door that led to the outside, Naruto found it and made his way, to come across none other than Fugaku Uchiha, after all these years. So yeah guys, basically let's left off, you guys can switch across the place to yourself to see in this new episode. The atmosphere was rather tense, given the situation, given the last time these two saw one another. Naruto was unusually calm, which Fugaku noticed. I'm surprised that you haven't attacked me yet. Fugaku was covered from his neck going down in a cloak, as Naruto could not see his body, especially his right arm that he had destroyed when he tried to kill Itachi. Naruto's Sharingan flared to life before his eyes returned back to normal. There will be no point of attacking a clone. I knew that you weren't that much of a fool to face me head on, and you're too much of a coward to go up against me once again. So I knew that there is no way this is the real you. But after all these years, what? Have you just come here to chat, said Naruto. Of course not, Fugaku said. I was simply keeping up to date on the recent news. Naruto watched him. I heard about your son. What was his name? Sasuke Uchiha? Fugaku said, looking at Naruto at the corner of his eye as he moved. Good name, I suppose. And yet I thought his name was Itachi Uchiha. However, I suppose, well, that was my bad. Naruto did not say anything, simply watching the man. So that's it. You have nothing to say to me. No, I'm sorry. For ruining my life. He looked at Naruto waiting for something. However, Naruto looked around. Is that all you've come to say? If it is, you're wasting your time. No, Fugaku said, raising his tone. I've come to see you suffer. And how, pray tell, are you going to do something like that? Oh, I have my plans. Don't worry. I'm being courteous to come and warn you about them. Because I want you to know that I'm coming for you. But not just you. The entire Uchiha clan. All of you deserve my wrath. Naruto chuckled, finding his words rather amusing. I suppose this is a point that I beg and apologize for what I did so you don't harm the clan. As if you possess the power to do that. Naruto insulted the man right to his face. Despite not knowing what Fugaku has been doing for the past couple of years, you want to know the real truth. Mikoto and I was in love before your even sham of a marriage. The both of us was each other first. That's right. You were not there first. That was me, said Naruto. She was mine. She loved me. Being with you was just an obligation to the clan. Being with you was just something that she had to do. Something that her own father forced her to do. What? You heard me. Her father found out that we were together, and he claimed that he was about to end my life. The only mistake that she ever made was losing faith in me, because if she did not, you two would have never been together. So don't fool yourself in believing that you have a say in anything that happened. You went after an innocent child for something that he did not do. I was the one that ruined your life as you see it. I was the one that she fell for. I was the one that slept with her on that day. The day before we fought, she came to me, trying to stop me from ending your miserable life. Something I should have done right then, and she would have been here now. But I stopped myself. I just wanted to humiliate you, to prove that you were nothing, and to simply move on. But it seems like fate worked in mysterious ways. She got pregnant. She was afraid. She had no idea. Before she gave birth, she had no idea. I know her. She feared the outcome too much. However, the suspense was probably too much. And she found out. And she knew. She knew the pain and sorrow that it would have brought up. However, you were so obsessed with me being your better. You were always trying to find a way to prove that you were better than me. And your paranoid worked into that as well. But, to tell you plainly, I simply don't care. You were never an obstacle in my path. You were never my rival. You were never my foe to face. You were simply just a weak-hearted man that has hid behind his father and the so-called name that he carried. That is all you had to begin with. That is all you ever had. You fought me at your youngest, even when I was inexperienced, and I still bested you. There and then when none of us had access to anything that would make us great. And from then, you carry this grudge. Time and time again, you try to rub it in my face that you got her, but she loved me. She never truly cared for you, said Naruto. It was just a mistake that she could not get out of. So if you believe that, I'm sorry. If you believe that I'm sorry. If you believe that I'm upset on what I did, I do not. Because I do not care for you. I do not see you as an obstacle to face or even put up a challenge against me. because I know you're too much of a coward to even step to me. Fugaku was boiling over with rage. Even after all these years, the clone was angry. However, he took a breath. I'm not an idiot. If you think your words are going to rile me up enough for me to make a move, you're the fool here. It doesn't matter, said Naruto. Your opinion means less than dirt to me. Naruto turned to walk away. I suppose you're right, Fugaku said. She never truly loved me. I knew that, but I got with her out of obligation and out of feelings first, but then just to spite you. However, I suppose that's a null point now because she's gone. She slept with you, even while engaged to me. As far as I see it, she's nothing but a slut. A little whore that deserved what she got. Naruto was quiet as his back was turned. However, I suppose you know that. But it doesn't really matter now, does it? The past is the past. But you should know, I'm coming for you and the entire clan. Because in my eyes, they're just as guilty. They're just as corrupted for choosing a bastard like you and willing to accept your bastard child. In my eyes, you're all the problem. And now, I want you to know every single day, every single moment of your life that I will be coming for you. And when I do strike, I'll make you suffer beyond your wildest imagination. I'll inflict pain upon you without even laying a finger on you. And that's a promise. That's a promise, he said. Naruto turned, his eyes revealing the Mangekyo. The next moment, the body of Fugaku folding on itself and poof, it was gone. Naruto's eyes reverted back to normal. He had already scanned the surrounding area, and there was no one except for his people. So, Naruto wasn't afraid to say what he desired, and his people weren't close enough to overhear what he had to say. However, Fugaku believed that Naruto was the one who got played here. Naruto was the one who played him. Yes, Naruto meant what he said, but Naruto wasn't angry. Of course not. His desire to kill Fugaku would always be there, but he wasn't angry at the moment. But he knew who Fugaku was after. It was Itachi. He wanted to kill his son. In doing so, he would make him feel pain, like he never felt. And after that, he supposed he was going to come after the clan, to try to strip his power away from him. However, over the years, Naruto had predicted something like this, and he had ensured that something like that would never happen. He had made all precautions to ensure that his people would be safe and protected. Not just his people, but the village as well. As he had no idea the forces that Fugaku has aligned himself with. But whatever he had to throw at him, he will be prepared. He supposed the mission here was a bust. The village was safe. His people were safe. With that, he headed off. Time skip. Fugaku was making his way. As he walked, the cloak that he was wearing moved to reveal his arm. From the shoulder going down, that patch of skin above the area was normal, but the rest of it was milky white. It wasn't his arm, a substitute, which was given to him all those years ago. Fugaku finally arrived. As he came to a stop, someone was seated a few feet away from him. The person's face was obscured by a mask. Did your little talk give you what you desired? It did enough, Fugaku said, which was a lie. The things that Naruto had revealed to him simply made him more and more angrier. But he had no way of killing Naruto right there and then. Therefore, his rage was at an all-time high. That is what he was feeling right now. The masked man in front of him wearing an orange mask with swirls on it had told him that a conversation would just lead to his rage heightening even more. However, he did not listen. He refused to listen. I will simply be returning everything that he says to me. Right back at him when I got him. Fugaku said, a dark gleam in his eyes. It is not time for that as yet, the masked man said, rising up. We still have a lot of work to do, a lot of planning to do, to ensure that things go our way. Fugaku relented, as angry as he was. He was one of the few that had seen Naruto's strength up close and lived to tell the tale. He knew the kind of monster that Naruto was. And there was no doubt in his mind that he's gotten stronger over the past couple of years. Because, like many of the other Uchihas, they strive for greatness. However, Naruto was born with that talent that Fugaku despised, that he hated, a talent that was above his, a talent that made him so mad. However, he hasn't exactly been wasting time for the past couple of years. Of course not. He's been putting it to good use. And when the time does come, he was going to reveal it all. To make him understand. To make him see the errors of his ways. Yes, he will. Time skip. Time started to fly by, as days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Fugaku went into hiding once again. Since that little conversation that they had, Naruto had not seen him at all. The man was hiding. Naruto had people that were searching for said man. Yes, he had people that were on the hunt. However, they were proven to be useless in this situation. Just like his former master Orochimaru. They were in some decrepit hiding hole, unable to be located by anyone. Speaking of the Sannin, he heard rumors about him interacting with Kumo having some problems there. Naruto did not much care about that or what was taking place there. However, the Raikage had signed the treaty with Konoha. Naruto was there on that day to make sure that the Kumo ninjas did not do anything stupid. Nothing bad happened. The treaty was signed, so the villages would not be at each other's throats. That was good. The other villages already knew not to step to Konoha, otherwise they will be crushed. The fear that Naruto had instilled in these people was still burning hot to this day, and no one, absolutely no one, no village would dare to cross that path. Having witnessed the terrors of the past, stories are still being told about the man that can burn the world, that they said. The man that walk and bodies drop. The man that reap your very soul. The Hollow. Yes, his name was feared. His name was dreadful throughout the nation. Despite the reputation that Madara Uchiha once possessed, the name Naruto Uchiha now surpassed that reputation because Naruto was still amongst living, and his name was talked about on a much more grand scale by everyone as he's alive. Perhaps the reason is because he was also Madara's grandson. They claim that he was some sort of deity, some believing that he was a devil and not a man. Stories that would make you barf. Things that he did to man, woman and child to cement himself as one of the most prolific, chaotic, corrupted, insane person in this entire world. And people knew better than to make a move against someone like that. Mito was finally able to graduate the academy. Perhaps, without the help of the people that was around her, she wouldn't have been able to learn the faults that she had. She simply possessed too much chakra, something that she had worked on severely with a lot of help for the past couple of years, which allow her to excel in certain areas that she could not even perform in. But now, she was better than ever. As she graduated the academy, on that same night, Mizuki tried to steal a forbidden scroll. However, he was apprehended by the Uchiha police and taken into custody. As for Itachi, Itachi became a member of the police force, serving vigilantly at their side. Despite being the son of the clan head, he didn't want any special treatment. He wanted to rise through the ranks as any normal member. Granted, given the line that he came from, he was in line to take over. But Itachi was rising through the ranks. Shisui, taking him under his wing, teaching him. When Naruto had the time, he stepped in as well and teach his son. So yes, things were going well for the village. Konoha was generating a lot of revenue, given that majority of the outside forces were offering their services to Konoha, a lot for the Uchiha clan as well. Naruto's namesake and the clan reputation that was constantly rising was providing a better whole in the village that was generating a lot. So the people, especially those that were in charge of many of the shops around Konoha, was very happy about this, which in turn, the civilians were happy as well. So Danzo planned to turn the Uchihas into public enemy number one has failed miserably. However, it was Danzo. Naruto has made enemies over the past couple of years. People that would rather not see him succeed. And as the time went by, those people were getting more and more powerful by coming together, working as one. Mito graduated and she was placed on Team 7 with Sakura Haruno as her teammate and Ami Shinoiki. She was one of the members that was saved by Naruto at the time, simply a young girl. And she was able to excel in the academy. And she was placed on Team 7. It was 3 girls, Mito, Ami, and Sakura. As the time went by, with them officially becoming Team 7, Mito was overjoyed, showing all the people that was in her life when she get her head banned. Naruto was one of them that she came to show. She was a bit nervous, as she always was, around him. However, it was just a sign of great respect, because she was told by Uncle her greatest shame, and the person that prevented her from seeing it as such. As she was shocked by that, he was always serious most of the times. Yes, he spoke to her, but not like the others did. However, she come to see him as a very good person. He was the one that helped Uncle so much. Not to mention, he was doing so much good for so much people. And her new friend Ami, he was the reason why her and her people were here. So yes, she was happy to show him her headband. And he told her that he was proud of her. That resonated with her more than she expected, as she felt like it was her father telling her that. She hugged him and cried slightly. She felt embarrassed about it, but he had smiled at her. Yes, he did. As Mito continued to excel, she went on her first mission outside the village. Upon returning back, Naruto was able to get a transcript of what followed. Happy to hear that she was safe, as he was holding said file in his hand, a smile on his face. Yes, things were going well. Meanwhile, outside of the confines of the Hidden Leaf, we find the decrepit, twisted man. It was none other than Orochimaru, resided in a very secretive, locked away space. The Sannin was currently conducting some experimental thoughts. He was busy nowadays. He was waiting for the person to arrive, having already sent someone to greet them and bring them down here. Making his way, he came to a stop. As Orochimaru turned his gaze, there was a smile on his face. "What's so funny?" the person said. "Who would have thought that you and I would be working together? We're not working together, we merely share the same ideal. Don't twist this for anything else. And you don't pretend like it's that insignificant." Orochimaru said. Standing there was none other than Fugaku Uchiha. Yes, you heard that right. Fugaku, aligning himself with the Sannin. Then again, the masked man had revealed himself to Orochimaru. Well, not like that. Fugaku was basically his emissary, to speak on his behalf. Orochimaru realized in that moment that, despite the fact that he escaped the organization, he was still under their watch. Well, not exactly all of them. This masked individual, someone that seemed to possess great power, he wasn't sure about the servitude that Fugaku shared with this man, because he did not seem to be his servant. However, he did seem to listen to his words. Perhaps it was due to the power that he wielded. From what Orochimaru has gathered, this man seemed to be the mastermind behind everything. A part of the organization, but as a rookie, pretending to be a fool. However, Orochimaru had felt the sheer animosity and power from this man when he questioned him for a fool. The Sannin had no idea how he was able to simply appear. Lead that over to the miracles of the Sharingan. Yes, he saw that within that eye socket. So this was a Uchiha. Which Uchiha he was not sure, but a very powerful one as well. No answers were given to Orochimaru. However, they all had something in common. They all wanted to stop Naruto Uchiha. While Orochimaru was still proud of his student, yes. Despite all the changes that took place, he was very proud of Naruto and his strength that he had accumulated over the past couple of years. However, you see, there was many other forces that were interested in the fall of Konoha. More likely the fall of the Uchiha clan. It was strange. Despite the great power that Konoha possessed, the true threat was the Uchiha clan. You had people like Shisui and other Uchihas that had great strength, not to mention his recent revealed son. Yes, Sasuke Uchiha. You had those people that possess great strength. And yet, this one person was able to captivate so much fear. In another life, Orochimaru would have been proud to stand by his side as his sensei. Unfortunately, this is not that other life, and this is how things were going to go in this one. The Sannin had tried to recruit people for its cause, people that would be beneficial because of their strength. However, the mere mention of what they intend to do, who they intend to go up against, they all ran. Literally, they ran away from him. He had captivated this fear through the nation that made the people realize that They are stepping against him. Their movements in his direction would result in their family, their ancestors, their progenies, everything being erased from history. So people did not want to involve themselves with him in any matter of the world, those that tried to go up against him as enemies. However, there were those that Naruto pissed off to the point that they require his death, and Fugaku was one of them. His hatred for Naruto had brought him a long way. There was many secrets that Asani knew that he was keeping away from him, but he did not care. They were simply using each other for their own gains. Right to business, then Orochimaru said. The Kazekage, he's become jittery. Despite all the propaganda that I've made him understand that is only becoming larger. He's too afraid. Earlier, he was hopped up, believing that everything shall go the way it will. But he's become cowardly. Thinking about past events, they've watered him down. So what does this mean for the plan? What if he spills? Oh, don't worry. He won't get the opportunity to do that. Orochimaru said, that smile on his face. For now, I will simply play my part and he will his. I will make him believe that everything is safe and fine. And then I will strike, ensuring that the sand will attack Konoha alongside the sun as well. And those forces that you've been able to gather. While most of them were afraid, some of them were simply angry because of things that Naruto did. So yes, a lot wanted revenge. They even got a massive heavy hitter on their side. Even more massive than the one-tailed Jinchuriki. So things were going well for the corrupted side. Meanwhile, rising out of the ground was a creature half black and half white. It was Zetsu. The same masked man that was with Fugaku had his back turned as he gazed towards the area in front of him. Do you really believe that their plan is going to work? As the masked man was quiet, not speaking for a while, it was the black half of Zetsu that was speaking. His tone was serious, while the other was light and a bit cheerful. There is a chance. However, it is a small chance. If the circumstances are right, they will be able to kill him. And if they are not, we will be losing a lot of valuable asset for our future plans. I will make sure that our assets are not gone to waste in the end, the masked man said. However, in order for us to complete anything, Naruto Uchiha has to die. More than most, the only threat that stands in our way right now is him. The nine-tailed Jinchuriki is under his protection. Simply going to the village and trying to retrieve the nine tails will result in the death of every single member on the organization, the masked man said without hesitation. As White Zetsu spoke, wow, I knew that he was strong, but is he strong enough to even defeat Pain? The man got to his feet. I'm not sure, he said. He himself not so certain, given the Rinnegan that was in play. However, if by a miracle, the changes that Madara went through has festered in him already because of the Senju and Uchiha. Not to mention, Madara had to steal a piece of Hoshirama's flesh, while he is birthed from both. There is still so many unknown. I have seen his strength in the past, and as time passed, it has only grown stronger. His name alone is able to grip the entire world and place it in a state of fear. If he was with us, the guarantee that we would succeed It would be 100%, but he's not. That is why I'm allowing this plan to take root, allowing them their chance to try and take him down, because if they're successful, our chances go up. Around 90% of succession with everything. The masked man said that was how confident he was that the death of Naruto Uchiha would allow him to achieve everything that he desired. He knew more than most as well the true terrifying power that the Uchiha carry. Konoha had grown itself in a stabilizing state. It had expanded to the point that him appearing within the village was starting to cause alerts. Yes. And this was the doing of Naruto Uchiha as well. Having a great deal with the security forces around the village. Strengthening the village to great heights. The village was powerful, yes. However, how will they be prepared when the attack came from the inside? He made his way, seen as a fool by the rest of the Akatsuki members. Orochimaru did not even know that he existed. However, he showed the Sannin that he couldn't get away from him. Granted, he did not care much for the hunting of Orochimaru. The rest of the Akatsuki saw Orochimaru as a traitor, but he saw him as a valuable asset to use at his disposal. And the Sannin was simply playing along, knowing that his location was there, and they could use that against him to give to the rest of the members, especially Sasori, who was starving for his demise. But the Sannin was a very crafted person. He doesn't just take things and lie down. He had something at play here. He had absolutely no doubt about that. Yes, he knew. But their plan had to go through, because Naruto Uchiha had to die in order for them to achieve what they desired. However, even if they fail, by the time things got around to the epic part, he would have 1 to 8 of the tail beasts. And as powerful as he was, controlling all of them, if his plan went perfectly, he will be able to crush Naruto Uchiha within his palm. Yes, crush him like he was nothing but a toothpick. With that, he made his way back at the village. As Naruto was in the office, seated behind the desk was not Hiruzen. A lot has changed, yes it has. It was none other than Tsunade Senju, making his way as he proceeded to sit down. A few months now, she had taken over. Hiruzen had prepared her for this point, so he wouldn't be rushing her into anything. Tsunade was against the idea at first, not because of her past, but because of the tiresome work that she would have to do. Being with Itachi, having the experience to be a mother, finding a purpose, something that she lost because of the people that were taken away from her. Well, that part of her was full, reunited with a hope that she never had. So yes, Hiruzen was able to convince her to take the title as Hokage, and she's been doing wonders ever since. She wasn't a pushover like Hiruzen, so there was some changes. Some people did not like, and some others welcome. She was one of the few that knew the truth about Naruto and his son. Yes, she was one of the few people that knew the truth. However, Naruto also told her the threat was on the horizon. It's been a few years now, said Tsunade, as their topic switched to the danger that Konoha had to face. He hasn't shown himself, not even once. But there is no doubt in my mind that he's relented on everything. Of course not, said Naruto. He's been plotting for this long. He has help. I'm not sure, but there are countless people that desire my death. Naruto gazed through the window. Perhaps it's penance for all the things I've done, he said. Perhaps my time will come, sooner than I think. Tsunade looked towards him, looking rather concerned at his words. What are you? My life has been a full circle, said Naruto. In the beginning, yes, it was hard. But even through that pain, I've been ripped apart mentally, physically, emotionally. I've experienced pain that I don't think one person should experience. In one lifetime, being abandoned by your own parents, seen as nothing but a bother and a waste, having your heart ripped out when you thought you finally found a special someone. It was bad. But look at me now, said Naruto. I have my son. I have you. The people that are close to me. And there is nothing more that I need for, he said. I'm quite content with how life is right now. I did right by Kushina and Minato. And I know that they would be proud to see the kind of young lady that Mito has grown up to be. She's a very special girl, said Naruto. After all, we cannot hold back the younglings. They have to carve their own future. And if we're constantly there, guiding them in our image, in our path, they will never truly develop how they want to develop, said Naruto. After all, we've done our best to ensure that our lineage survive, that our people continue to thrive. I don't like when you speak that way, said Tsunade. It is not your time yet. Naruto chuckled. Of course not, he said. I didn't mean it like that. However, I'm not immortal. I'm not some kind of god, despite how much I might seem like that. But I've done what I've done to ensure that the people will never see this village as a place they can bully, as a place they can simply conquer. And I will ensure that before my passing, I will further cement everything down in history line to ensure that everyone understands the repercussion of war. Because without it, as you can see, we have this peace that is just so wonderful. Spoken like an old sage, she said to him. You know I'm only 36, right? Naruto said, looking at her. As he muttered under his breath, what was that? Oh, nothing, he said. He did say a lot younger than you. However, he didn't say it out loud. Well, as you just said, you're only 36. You still have your whole life in front of you, she said to him. I suppose you're right, but lately, I've been having this unusual feeling, he said. I've gone through the depths of war. I believe I've stand in front of death itself, and I did not flinch. But now, Naruto said, looking down toward his hands, I've been recently questioning my mortality. Everyone get to that certain point, said Tsunade. Even I did, and it got bad. Real bad. But you were one of the few that helped me through it. And you should know. Because you should already know this, you are not alone, she said. Naruto has been thinking about a lot lately. About his legacy. Leaving behind his embodiment on this world. There was still a lot more to do. However, he's been through so much. He's done so much. Naruto knew that when his eyes finally closed, there will be a lot. Anger, rage. After all, given the life that he's led to ensure that his people are safe, well, he became the definition of the devil itself. And he doubted that His soul was pure. Yes, he very highly doubted that. As he leaned his head back, continued his conversation with Sneddy. She was one of the few people that truly gets him, yes. She gets him on a much deeper level of understanding as they sat there and talked. Some of the others did not like the relationship that the Hokage might have with a certain clan head, and that was none other than Naruto, believing that she was putting things in his favor, but there was no evidence to back up many of their claims. They were just talks for now. However, as stated before, Sneddy was not Hiruzen, and she would not put up with that crap. Time skip. Orochimaru found himself rethinking his actions. He would have liked to enter Konoha, the Chunin Exams, to try to throw off their sense of attack, making them believe that attack would be coming out from the outside. His way of manipulating their thoughts, getting into their head. However, the Sannin was afraid, while not claiming that out loud he was. It was hard enough to get a spy within the village nowadays. Walking into the village, the chances of running into his former student, not to mention the retired Hokage. Sneddy was now the leader of the village, but Hiruzen was still active even within his old age, so that was a problem. The Sannin decided to forego his usual mental fortitude, his mental attack, and simply stay on track. Yes, he did. As for the exams, they began. Mito and her team was thrown in. Given all of their success, Team 7 had been excelling, each member taking down a different path. Sneddy had more power than she ever had before, even before she had started the medical program. And it wasn't just something that was taken outside of the academy. Students were selected inside of the academy. Sakura Haruno was one of them. The girl had shown great strength in that area. Every single team was required to have a medical ninja on standby, and Sakura was a medical ninja for Team 7. Each of their skills, they benefit one another, with Mito being the close-range fighter, Ami being the long-range fighter, not to mention her illusions as well. As Mito was just like her mother, she inherited the chakra chains. Kushina never truly fought with the chains in the way that Mito fought with them, and she was doing wonders. As the exams rolled around and they were participating, Naruto simply arrived there, wanting to see how she was doing. Mito was delighted when she saw him standing up there in the balcony. As he came to watch her, she knew it. She felt like she had to put on a good show. And she did. Her opponent was a Kunoichi from the grass team. Mito demolished her. She fought with a Hebai fighting style, taught to her by Uncle. However, her chains were used as substitute for snakes, which caused her to be more deadly and fast in her attack and her approach. As she came out on top, each member of her team made it. Sakura had been excelling in the art of healing, but that was not the only area as well. The girl was proficient in hand-to-hand because that was one of the requirements. Every single medic must know how to properly defend him or herself, just in case. And Sneddy had been passing this teaching off to Shizune. At first, she was the one that was controlling this, but becoming Hokage was taking up more of her time. However, Shizune was no slouch in the area either. She was proven to be just as beneficial. So yes, each member of the team came out successfully. Time skip. Naruto believed in true love. After all, Mikoto was his, and he was hers. Yes, he believed in true love, of course. From the moment his son got here, he had took notice in one of the members of the clan. Her name was Izumi. Izumi was a very special girl, being the second youngest to ever awaken her Sharingan. The girl was proficient in the fighting style of the Inceptor Fists. But not only that, she was smart, using her brain to understand the situation before running in. Shisui and many others had saw the great talent that the girl possessed. She had become Jonin recently and had taken a team, training 3 little children, and she was an amazing teacher. Itachi had been focusing a lot on raising his status within the police force, mingling with the clan, becoming familiar. He hadn't had much time for most things, but him and Izumi had been friends since he arrived. Naruto saw something some time ago, but he wanted his son to see it, and Itachi came to him for advice. Being with Shizune and Tsunade, they taught him everything that he needed to know about the world, and Naruto was there a lot to speak with him. Yet he was still a bit nervous. Naruto told him that he had nothing to be nervous about, already seeing that the girl had feelings for him. Naruto was standing there as a proud father watching his son as he was going out on his first date. He enjoyed to see that the younger generation was being happy. Given the time that he was raised in, people barely had time for anything like this. But seeing Itachi head off, that little smile on his face, Izumi, walking rather close to him, Naruto was happy for them both, feeling rather proud. As someone arrived within the village, it took them long enough. Moments later, we saw Naruto walking when someone appeared beside him. The person started off. "You're pretty pissed, huh?" he said. As Naruto did not answer for a moment. "I understand what you have to do for the village. I understand what you've been doing," said Naruto. While the man had been not much of his sensei because he was taken by Orochimaru quickly before things had changed up, Jiraiya was still his first real teacher, yes. As the Sannin was walking alongside him, given the relationship that he shared with Minato and Kushina, he was supposed to be here as a protector for their child. Granted, Naruto was closer in terms of being there as their best friends growing up, reason why he was named the Godfather. But Jiraiya wanted to actually see the girl, to maybe even train her, carry on like how he did with Minato. "It is not me that you should be speaking to, by the way," said Naruto. "She's grown into a lovely girl, very insightful, as a mind of her own. So it's her forgiveness that you have to ask for." Jiraiya could have visited, but their debts had hit him harder than he expected. He lost so much, as a man considered most of his achievements failures. Despite his rather goofy attitude, he has a lot of baggage that he has been carrying. The pain prevented him from truly intervening, but she knew. Yes, she knew what was going on. She knew who she was. So he supposed he just had to man up. He had to. Time skip. Naruto watched as a Sannin was overseeing Mito's training. There was a lot to unpack there, given how close he was to her parents, the fact that he wasn't here. But just as she was insightful, she was also a very forgiving, kind girl as well. And Jiraiya wanted to be a part of her life. As he deeply missed the connection that he shared with Minato. The man was more than just his student. Having no children of his own, Jiraiya had looked towards Minato like his own son. Yes. So he wanted to be there for Mito as well. And he was trying, and Mito saw that. So as the time went on, when the day finally came, a lot of people were here to see the exams. Naruto sat within the crowd as the Uchiha sat alongside him. They were there to witness all that was being taken place. Mito was a big part, giving her, inclusive within the clan. Not to mention Ami was there as well. Her older sister was there to watch. Granted, her older sister looked like her younger sister, but it was simply the genetics of their clan. As the match started up, the people were cheering them on. Mito's opponent was Neji Hyuga, a very insightful boy. The Council of the Raikage had plotted for them to use the opportunity of signing the peace treaty to, steal Hyuga, but the Raikage had immediately shot that down, knowing that would sign many death sentences. As the match began, the both of them seemed to be rather equal. Granted, he was 1 year older than her. It showed the dedication that she's put in her training, but in the end, as they fought and gave it what they got, Mito came out on top using her chains. However, Neji had shown that his title was well deserved, given the amount of chakra that she possessed that outscaled his, and giving her binding chains, and yet he was still able to do so much damage. But he got defeated though. The people cheered, many looking past all that has been done, looking towards the future because of all the greatness that has taken place. Naruto knew that there was many that would come after her once the secret about her identity had been revealed. That is why it had not been revealed just yet. He wanted to ensure that she could take care of herself. Ami went up against another grass shinobi. As one of the teams had excelled and made it here, he was rather powerful. Using a secret art, he was able to turn the water into a liquid sludge. However, Ami was able to manipulate her Ketsugan and use many genjutsus against him, wearing him down one after another, using her long-range fighting tactics, and she was able to come out on top. As the other matches started to go on, Gara, a boy from the desert, a very powerful boy, arrived down there on the field. His opponent was Shino Aberame. Unfortunately though, the match did not begin. Immediately, there was a poof within the Hokage's box. The Kazekage who sat next to Tsunade, not to mention the representative from the Land of Grass. He was alarmed by what was going on. The Kazekage, on the other hand, showed his true intentions. In the crowd, as people were being put to sleep by a powerful genjutsu, many ninjas started to rise, showing their true intention, but before they could even strike anyone down, erupting from the ground, would release that bind them where they stood. Immediately, the shinobis got to work and removed the citizens, getting them to safety as quickly as possible. Naruto started to give out orders as explosions went off. So this is it. Naruto said out loud, his son nearby. Naruto nodded to his son, telling him what to do. Itachi moved off, assisting with the others. As everything started to go chaotic, ninjas started to pour into the village. Naruto went through hand sign only to stop as they all felt it. Leaping up to the top, gazing outwards, Naruto watched the massive chakra surge erupted into a massive beast. The Four Tails. Yes, the Four Tails Jinchuriki. The tail beast, as it immediately started gather chakra trying to create a tail beast bomb. Jiraiya flipped off the building and landed beside Naruto. "Go. I'll handle things here," he said. Naruto did not need to be told twice, moving off at tremendous speed, his gaze flickering towards where the smoke was. At the Hokage section, he saw Tsunade burst out of it. Anvu's landed by her side. Naruto's gaze flickered as he saw that the Kazekage was not there. However, he raced, making his way towards the deep section of the forest, leaping and moving through the trees as the thing continued to gather the energy until it suddenly stopped. Naruto landed down in the clearing as the tail beast reverted back down to its normal form. Naruto narrowed his gaze towards the man that stood there. "Ah, Roshi. Long time no see." The look in Roshi's eyes. Roshi was a man from the Hidden Stone. However, Naruto did not know if Roshi was here because of the Tishikage or because of their past. Yes, Naruto and Roshi had a past. It was Naruto slaughtering the man's entire family. The next moment, a massive barrier was constructed around them. It was wide, extremely, as they made sure to go to the edge of how far they could push it. It was large. However, Naruto was not the only one in there with Roshi. The hatred in Roshi's eyes as he looked at Naruto. But Naruto simply looked at him calmly. 3 coffins rose up as someone started to emerge. "It's been a long time, my student," Orochimaru said. "So you're behind this," Sensei Naruto said, still calling the man that despite what they have been through. "I told you that your time would be coming." Naruto turned his gaze to see Fugaku. "I'm surprised. You 3 working together is a rather unusual combo," said Naruto. One of the coffins failed, causing Orochimaru to hiss. The other 2 narrowing their gaze, but the other 2 coffins opened up to show the first and second Hokage. Naruto was looking at it very carefully. "The reanimation technique," he said. "I'm not surprised. You were just as invested as I was one time. But I suppose my curiosity has surpassed yours," Orochimaru said, as he placed inside of their head 2 kunais. Their bodies started to regain color. Orochimaru stripped them immediately off their consciousness though. They were nothing but pawns at his disposal. "So is this it?" said Naruto, looking towards Fugaku. "This is the mighty attack that you had planned for me, luring me out here with the threat of the tail beast, and then all of you taking me on at once, ending my life." Orochimaru regurgitated his Kusanagi blade and gripped it in his hand. Fugaku's eyes switched into the Sharingan and then straight to the Mangekyo. "I told you that you would suffer the next time we meet one another, and I'm not here to speak anymore," said Fugaku. Orochimaru started to walk. The 2 reanimations started to move by his side. "I have to give the best I can. After all, we are going up against you." "What a greeting," said Naruto, seeing me after all these years and starting a fight without a little conversation. "I'm afraid that we don't have time for that. You see, this has to go perfectly. And this all begins with your death. As unfortunate as I see it, you have to be the one to die first," Orochimaru said. "I suppose that teacher-student relationship meant nothing." "Perhaps it did," the Sannin said, "but not anymore." A monstrous roar came from Roshi as his body got covered in lava. "You will pay for what you did to my family." As Naruto turned his gaze towards him, "I suppose It wasn't hard to convince him, said Naruto. They were right. This plan was precise. Fugaku, Orochimaru, Jinchuriki, Roshi. The first, the second, all 5 of them would be taking on Naruto alone. Yes, they have planned and they have prepared for this. Many surprises that they would use against him. But not just that. As Itachi raced after, the one-tailed hosts, Mito and the others had proceeded to follow the one-tailed Jinchuriki. As he headed into the forest, he went after them only to be stopped by a bone. He jumped away to see 2 people, a blue-haired kunoichi and a white-haired male. These 2 members were directly under Orochimaru. Yes, and they were here for Itachi. All of this was planned some time ago. A plan to ensure that they won this day. Meanwhile that was going on, lurking within the shadows was root operatives. Yes, Danzo's men. The group that was supposed to be disbanded for their rather dark activities were now lurking within the shadows. What was their goal here? Well, it was simple. They were after the Uchihas. Danzo was sabotaging his own village for his own gain. He was not here to help. All this time, this plan had gone far deeper than anyone expected. And now Naruto was out of the play, forced him to fight outside. Tsunade turned her gaze when she saw the ninjas pouring in. It wasn't just sand and sound. While Naruto had provided a safe of security for the people of the Leaf, while Minato had slaughtered thousands, Orochimaru had used that, the pain and suffering, to ensure that his army was massive. And it was ninjas from all over who desire their death and destruction. The number was frightening, as there was a lot of them. Tsunade started to bark out orders. Her people started to move. 3 envoys descended, but they all fell. They were assaulted by a group of operatives. Tsunade was shocked, because these operatives were not just any people. They were Danzo's men. Hiruzen Sarutobi, who was racing towards a field, saw the ninjas that were gathered there, only to be cut off by an explosion within the village parameters. What the hell? There was no way they could have reached that far already. Hiruzen turned his gaze to see none other than Danzo approaching, stepping out on the field. Yes, you heard that correctly. Danzo, in the light. Now that doesn't make much sense, now does it? But yet, here he was, within broad daylight. Hiruzen stepped towards the man, within his battle armor. What the hell do you think you're doing, he said. I've had enough, Danzo said. Once again you sully the name by handing over leadership to that woman. That woman that has been nothing but an embarrassment to the very name of Konoha. This is where I put my final stand. There is no chance of you or any of the others winning here today. Do you have any idea what you're doing to the village? Do you have any idea what the other enemies are going to do when we're weakened? Think, you're a very smart man. You wouldn't do something like this. Yes, you're right. I am a smart man. And I've already plotted 5 steps ahead to ensure that once you and those that support you fall, I will be the one to take the reins. And then, you really believe that you can trust these people? Hiruzen said angrily. Trust is a very slippery thing in this world. Another explosion went off, causing Danzo to smirk slightly. How can you stand there as innocent people die? He roared. Hiruzen was pissed, more pissed off than he's ever been. He knew that Danzo has been after his job for some time now. He knew the man was slippery and shady, but this was something that he never would have expected. Blatantly stepping out and doing this. Those people should have not reached within the village parameters. His ninjas had to be diverted. Sneddie was barking out orders to separate our people, which lessened the amount of power that they had here, which was his plan. Unfortunately, he had to do it. However, they still had many powerful shinobis, Shisui Uchiha and several others who were fighting back against the intruders. But their numbers were so great. Hiruzen had enough. I should have done this a long time ago, he said. His gaze turned murderous as he turned his wrath towards Danzo. You are right. Let us settle this once and for all. As Danzo engaged Hiruzen, which was crazy. However, he had a plan. But stepping out into the open and doing this publicly, it seems like he had no choice. There was so much that was going on under disguise. So much happening in secret that now it was all being revealed, and Konoha was in trouble. Yes, they were. They were being attacked from all over. The monstrous power of the One Tails proceeded to emerge, causing Jiraiya to snap his gaze around. He cursed. However, it was soon followed by the summoning of Gamabunta, causing him to smirk, knowing who was behind that. They had to stop the others here. That is when suddenly something arrived. Others. Ninjas that were flying. The land of sky. Konoha and that village had a rather big clash within the past. Recently within the Third War. However, it was said that they were destroyed. But they were just in hiding. And now they were back to wreak vengeance. Orochimaru did not hold back. Danzo, with his vast intellect as well, allowing many of this to happen, causing death and destruction within his own village to ensure that in the end, he would come out on top. It seems like Konoha was pushed in a corner as they were being crushed on all sides, and Naruto was out of the game. Sneddie and Jiraiya fighting alongside each other. Sneddie finishing giving out orders to others. Danzo clashing with Hiruzen. It was mayhem all over the village. Bloodshed and chaos explosions. And it was just beginning. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.